Hey guys, welcome in this new video. So today I want to talk about how much does a trader can expect to make from trading. So there are many things that you need to consider in order to give an answer to that question, and I will try to point these things and show you guys what are the possibility with trading. So the first thing I want to say is that trading has really no limits. It's limitless, right? You can make as much money as you can, like literally. And if you look at the example of, for example, George Soros, well, he made a lot of money trading. He even made 1 billion one time in one trade. So I'm not saying that a lot of people will be able to achieve these results, but the point is that there is no limit. And so it will all come down to you and your skill and how well you understand these markets to be able to profit from them. So first of all, how much money you will make will depend on your trading capital. So if you just have a few $100 or a few $1000s, well, don't expect to make too much of money because in reality it will probably not happen. Some people started with, a very small capital and have been able to turn that into millions, but it's a very small minority of people. So you have to be realistic when it comes to your goal settings and what you expect to make as a trader. So if you just have a few $100 or a few $1000s, don't expect to make, six figures at the end of the year. So it will probably not happen just because of the fact that you don't have enough capital to do that. And you always also need to keep in mind that your risk management, how you manage your risk, is one of the most important traits to have as a trader and one of the most important skill to master. So risking too much money will go against that. And so that is why even if you have a small capital, it will be hard to grow that capital to, 5, 6, or even 7 figures really quickly because you will need to respect a good risk management. So let's talk about in percentage. How much percentage can you make each month or each year, right? And that also will depend on your risk management. But let's say that we take the example of someone who risks 1% per trade, which is a very average and good risk management that a lot of traders use. Well, you can expect, if you are good enough, to make around 5 or 10%. I think it's very realistic. I've seen better than that. And of course, I've seen worse than that. But if we look at an average of many good traders, this is the average gain that you can have if you have a 1% risk management. So 5 to 10% each month. So that means that each year you can double the capital that you have. So even if you just have a small capital like we talked about before, and if you follow a good risk management, well, even if you can double that capital, you will still just make, few thousands per year, which is not bad. I mean, but it's not like enough to live off of trading or to be considered as a big income, So that is why I said that if you really want to make a lot of money trading, you will need a bigger capital. And it doesn't mean that you need to start off directly with a big capital. For example, if you start at $2,000, right, with a $2,000 account, well, the year after you are at 4,000, after you are at 8,000, you are at 16,000, etc., etc., and etc., and it just go up from there, right? So it doesn't mean that you need to have a, great and big capital to start trading. It only means that if you start with a smaller capital, that you will need to be patient to grow that capital while still managing your risk properly. And that is what most people get wrong, is that when they start with a small capital, they think that this capital will turn into 6, 7 figures in just, 2, 3 years, or even less than that for some people. That's what they believe in. But the reality is that very few people actually have results like that. And for the most majority is that it will not be like this, and it will take a lot more time than just few months or few years to grow your capital by 1,000% or 10,000%. That is what some people aim for, and that is why also they lose money, is because they have false expectation and false beliefs. So you really need to stay realistic when it comes to how much money you can make, because in reality to really be a profitable trader and live off of trading, you don't need to make that much. Like, you don't need to make 1000% per year. Like, it's not needed. You can just start with few thousands and eventually you will grow that account. Of course, in the first years, you will not be able to live off of that if you just have few thousands, but like maybe, 3, 4, 5 years later, you will be to live off of that. And in 10 and 20 years, you will be making a lot of money if you stay consistent and if you do the right things. So it's not just about, people think too short term when it comes to that. And I always like to refer to the example of Warren Buffett. He started investing at 7 years old and became a billionaire around 50 to 60. I'm not sure the exact age, but around that time. So it took him about 50 years to become a billionaire. And maybe you don't want to be a billionaire. That's perfectly fine as well. Maybe you just want to make, few millions, or maybe even less than that, or maybe a lot more than that, right? It doesn't matter. The point is that it will take a long time, and most people have the wrong goals. They think that they will be able to achieve these levels in just few months or few years. And having those wrong goals, you will start to act different and you will try to act according to these goals. But in reality, it will not work because these goals are not realistic. So you really need to figure that out and understand that. And so when you have the right goals to meet when it comes to how much money you can make, then just that in itself will help you become a better trader. So just to do a recap of everything I've just said, how much money you can make as a trader will depend on, number one, your risk management, and number two, the trading capital that you have. And so you will need to have these two in good places if you want to be able to have a long-term profitable career in trading. So that means that you will need to have a good risk management and also a good enough capital that you can grow over time and eventually make a lot of money from trading. So that is my answer to this question. I hope that it helped you. If it did, please share this video with another trader so it can also help him. And don't hesitate to leave a like under the video. It is always appreciated. Thank you for watching and take care.